I recently finished up converting this 2008 Chrysler Town & Country into a minivan camper, and there's a couple things that I tried for the first time that some of them worked out really good, some of them didn't work out so great, and I'm not worried about calling those things out because there's definitely things that I can improve on and things that I'll do better next time. But I'm gonna start on the outside just to show you what we got going on. Compared to a full-size van, the roof on this is obviously a lot smaller. So 200 watts of solar up there, and I didn't really have space to put a vent fan in the ceiling because those are, I mean, over a foot by a foot. And with this solar setup, it just wasn't gonna work. But I also didn't wanna do it because that kind of takes away from the stealth factor. Because the idea with the minivan camper is that, you know, it gets better gas mileage. You can park it anywhere that you could park any other car. And so I came up with this design for these vents in the window. And this is, I took some insulation board and then put some resin on one side of it, and obviously, you know, painted it to try and match the car, or match the windows at least. And then it's got polymat on the inside of it, and you'll see once we go inside the van. But there's one on this side, and that's blowing air into the van. And then on this other side, that one's blowing air out of the van. So get some good circulation in there. They are not like super noisy. I don't know how well you can hear that. Probably, I would say a little bit louder than a max air vent fan that would normally go in the roof. But it's not bad at all. One of the nice things about the minivan is that it comes with an actual fob, so I can just open the doors automatically, which is not typical with a full-size van. It's kind of nice. And I can open the other side as well. I'll point out too, all these windows have these Reflectix insulation boards on them. I don't know how well you can see that. Yeah, if you get close to it, you can see. And then on the inside of it, they're all covered in polymat. So it kind of matches the interior of the van. So it's small, but it has some open space here, which is really nice for getting in and out. I'll call out right away, one thing that I should have designed better was the height of this seat. I just did not do a good job of figuring out like how low this needed to be, which is kind of a bummer, but I don't know, next time. I guess a smaller person could sit here comfortably. I'm just under 6 feet tall, so I'm not like huge, but also not very small. If I'm slouching, that could be nice and cozy. But yeah, not the best design. It is cool though, the way the bed works, so let me show you. Before we do that though, let's turn some lights on, and I'm super proud of this. We've got these on a dimmer switch. These are LED light strips that are in the ceiling, so it's all indirect lighting. Get that turned up. Try and give you a better shot here. So I love how that turned out, and it was my first time doing that, the floating ceiling look. And it did use up, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch in height, which isn't great when it's such a small space, but still really cool the way it turned out. So I like that a lot. So let me show you this bed setup, and I guess also I'll show you this first because we're about to cover it up. But this has the stow and go seats in it. So this gives you a ton of storage space in the floor, which is really nice for more like long-term storage stuff. So if you're traveling in the summer and you have winter stuff with you, or vice versa, you can dump your more like seasonal stuff in there. Works really nice. This one as well. Same thing. Just that other bucket seat that was in there. For this bed, the storage that's underneath it is actually part of the frame. So those open up, there's obviously a ton of space there, which is really nice, but then that also is gonna support this bed. So let me, I don't know exactly how I'm gonna show you this. See if I can set up the camera over here. Hopefully you can see that all right. So this whole, the back of this bed is going to flip up just like that. And then lay out flat. Super happy with how this came out. It's my first time using these RV hinges, or RV transforming bed hinges. I can't remember exactly what they're called, but I could post a link for them if someone asks for it. So this is a twin size mattress. Obviously it runs from the back almost all the way to the front. You still have a little bit of room for getting from the front to the back here. Yeah, definitely could sleep one person comfortably. 2 people, I mean, it depends how big you are, but you could sleep 2 in there. It'd just be a little bit tight. So I'm gonna flip that back up for now, just because it's obviously easier to move around in there when the bed is up. So putting it away is obviously just the same thing in reverse. This whole back lifts up. This one kind of collapses into itself. And then you just roll it over. And just like that. You have all that open space again. So awesome concept. Being in such a tight space is obviously not as great as if you were in a full-size van, but I'm not too worried about like comparing those, just because there's a lot of pros and cons for each. And the purpose of the minivan camper is to be more compact. So I feel good about it. I think it's really nice too, having the open space in front of those benches, because I can just sit on the floor right here. And there's plenty of space to move around, or obviously if you like need to get changed in your van, you have space for that. We have a small chest fridge underneath the sink, which I can't remember the exact size of this, but I generally use about the same size fridge for all the campers that I do. It's not tiny, it's not huge, works pretty good. And the vans that I've lived out of, this size has worked great for one person. With 2 people, I mean, it depends obviously what you're eating and if you're in the van full time or just a weekender, but these fridges are really nice. I like them a lot. Above the fridge with our counter and sink, we also have an outlet right here. So this is the plug for the fridge. I just don't keep it plugged in when I'm not using the van. And then there's some USB ports there as well. Obviously the dimmer for the lights. And we'll get to some stuff in the back in just a little bit. But we also have a small sink here. This is just a super basic 12-volt pump. I don't have any water in there right now, but let me show you it from the back side, just so you can see what we're working with. With this sink, because it's such a simple setup, there's just one jug for fresh water, one jug for gray water, and those are both 2.5 gallons each. So not huge, but I don't know, a decent size for just small things, brushing your teeth, washing your hands, you know, food prep, little cleanup stuff. You're not taking a bath in it, so you don't need like a huge tank. And then obviously there's, you could pull that fridge out if you wanted. Pretty easy access, but very straightforward. And this has the same epoxy as the floor. So it's pretty durable, waterproof, you know, easy cleanup, easy to wipe down. Let's come over to the back. And this also has an automatic open on the switch. I just didn't use it. With the storage in the back, there was also the rear stow and go seats. So there's a ton of space down here. Hopefully you can kind of see how big that is in the video. But this also just pops right up and gives you easy access to load up your gear or whatever you want in there. I'm always hesitant to make like smaller storage compartments because I build these vans to sell, because this is just like kind of a hobby for me basically. I never know how the buyer is going to use the space, so I don't want to like close up things or build like little cubbies that they're not really going to use. So I should show you those shelves back on the inside, but that works a lot better for like smaller things and just like stuffing, you know, whatever you've got. But then having the space back here works really well for other, I don't know, camping gear, chairs, tents, whatever. And that opens and closes really nicely. There is, I didn't remove the rear AC, but it's also not running through the ceiling anymore. So it's just vented from right there. All the electronics are on the left side here. So 1500 watt inverter, and then charge controller. You've got the shutoff switch for the solar panels, and then the fuse box, which everything that I've added is running to that fuse box. So you've got the lights, the fans, the fridge, the outlets, all of that is running to that fuse box, and none of this is connected to the front of the van. It's all isolated and just runs off of solar. And then of course you've got your battery there, and then a shutoff for the fuse box. And these window covers came out pretty nice. I'm a big fan of them. I haven't done this style before, but like I was saying earlier, it's just foam board, and then it's covered in Reflectix and has that poly mat on it, so it gives it a really nice finish. And yeah, it just pops up in the window. Slide it in there just like that. And I pretty much leave it in there all the time, even when I'm driving, because I still, you know, take this van around town and things. But I pretty much just leave it in there and just use the side mirrors because it helps a lot. I'm in Arizona, so it gets really hot here, and those window covers are fantastic. So coming back on the inside real quick, the storage on here, this bed is not centered, and so the storage on this side, these cubbies, are bigger than the ones on this side. And the reason that I did that is because this side is lined up right with the wheel well, and then I used the twin size mattress and then wanted to maximize the space over here. So you have kind of this awkward cubby down here. I figure it's good for stuffing like bedding and, I don't know, blankets, extra pillows, whatever. You can just kind of shove them down there. And then you have the other cubbies that are just open space. And then it's got this elastic on it. Because initially I was gonna put some like cupboard doors on there, but I was worried that with the bed setup, you wouldn't be able to access that because it's kind of covering it. So to kind of work around that, I've done the elastic in some campers before. And obviously if you're like piling stuff way up, you could have things falling out, but generally it's pretty secure, just from the other vans that I've had. There's kind of these odd panels here that you could pull out if you needed to. That's just covering up the electronics. So we've got some wires running to this switch and the outlet, and then the wires in the back that are running like to the fuse box and just all those other things back there. So I've just got those boards covering up those wires, so there's nothing loose in there.